Our tedious cutting out and clearing out, digitizing our motifs is behind us. It's all beautifully done. Now it's fun time. So we're going to create a tile that is going to be our repeating tile, the shape. So it can be square and it could be rectangle. It can be any shape you like. Basically, I used to think that it always has to be square. Even if you put into a spoon flower, for example, it has to be square. No, it doesn't. It can be rectangle. So you can put the size here. It could be 4,000 here. It can be 6,000 here. So we're gonna stick nice and easy just to show you example. But so you know, it can be rectangle as well. So 4,000 here, 4,000 here pixels, 300 resolution, RGB color mode. We're sticking to the same one, and that's what requirement is for Spoonflower Shop. So we're keeping it in the RGB color. Here, we're going to go straight into our pattern preview tool. So you're going to find it if you go to View, Pattern Preview. It will normally come up with a little dialog box. I ticked not to show it again, that's why it doesn't come up here. But basically, it tells you to use smart objects. And I want to show you very quickly what the difference is. I used to get very confused with these, and now I finally figure it out what's going on. So I want to show you. So we're going to open one of our motifs. So we have broccoli here, and we're going to drag it into our preview mode. So if it's just a layer just as it is, if you take it, you know, it looks perfectly fine, like no problem. What's going on? What's the issue? If you start moving it around on, for example, rotating, okay, I need to approve it first. And when you start rotating, it will split, it will just not work. So what we need to do, let's do that action again. We're going to move it in here, in the center. So you select this motif, and then with a right click you choose convert to smart object. So it's converted. Now this image is kind of kept somewhere in memory of your computer. I'll explain in a second. So if you move your object and now you try to rotate, it doesn't split, it works fine, and you can just move it and you can split it again. I mean, you can rotate it again. It doesn't affect your motif, it's fine. And you can have that live preview. So if you see what's happening here, and here, if you already have that smart object, I can press Alt, hold it, and multiply, and it will create another smart object because I just completely copied that. So that's the quick way to do it. I can zoom out and see how is that going to look. So this is the way to do it with your smart object. Now, if you think, because those motifs we work hard on to make them look right, but if for any reason you need to make a change into your motif at this point, for example, you want to get rid of all that green, dark green area here. What you need to do, here you're clicking, not here, because it's going to activate blending modes. Here on that icon, double click, and it will open a separate window where you can make changes. So let me show you what I mean. Clone stamp, for example. And I'm going to sample from here using my Alt key, getting rid of that just for presentation purposes. So if you go back to your repeating preview, it's still there. So basically you have to make sure you go and save. And that way it will update here as well. So it's a great way to having smart objects, gives you more options, and it doesn't split that when you are actually creating the pattern here in the preview. The other thing you can do, and here what I absolutely love, if I create another layer, convert that into a smart object. If I just grab any sort of pencil, you can really easily, let's make that one much bigger so you can actually see what's happening. You see, you can really design your pattern here, how it's going to flow. It gives you a live view what it's going to be like, where with traditional way of working, when you just move one bit, this bit, you need to repeat to this bit, it just automatically does it for you. It's amazing. And I noticed that loads of people are not using it because they are getting confused at the stage of smart objects. So make most of it and use it. So how do we construct this pattern together? We're going to have to create all different layers with our motifs. So what we're going to do is like a plus here that creates new one and convert to smart object. Or what you can do before that, you open those files. So let's get a tomato, drag it in here, and then convert to smart object. And we're going to keep that here and we're going to name it tomato. And we can close this one now. And this one stays. So another one, open, carrot, drag it over, keep it in the middle, rename it carrot, and close this one. And I'm going to do the same thing and just going to speed up because it's going to be boring otherwise. We have all our elements here converted into smart elements, each layer by itself. And it's important to have on each layer because you want to be able to move them around. So we have quite specific elements here. The broccoli looks a little bit more like a bowl, and the beetroot. Then you have those tiny ones. And then also you have two large, long items, which is our carrot and leek. So I think we're going to start with carrot and leek. We're going to hide everything else. It might be easier. Okay, I got both selected. I want to just select one. So I think that's going to be a good starting point. Now we're going to turn on maybe tomato. I'm also looking at colors. So we got red here and red here. We need to kind of break it down with something else. What's that? Salad. Okay. Beetroot. It gives a beautiful kind of second shade of red. We might struggle to fit everything in. Broccoli. So it does take quite a lot of tweaking, and you could work on it for longer. You can make a bigger square as well, and kind of turn vegetables around a little bit. So if you want the background to be a color, you're going to add a layer here on the bottom. We're going to fill it with, let's choose a color. Fine. Oh, that looks really nice. Let's lock that. What to do now with your repeating tile to make sure it is shown as a repeating tile, because now we are just in the preview. So let me show you what happens if we turn off that preview mode. So window, view, pattern preview, turn off. Some of the elements have disappeared and this would not repeat correctly if we had that, just that. So I'm going to come back, edit, undo. And we are here. So what you can do is layer, flatten image, and that will create just one solid picture here. What happens if we turn off the view? View, pattern preview, turn off, and this is our repeating tile, and you can keep it as that. The other way to do it, so you can just save it as JPEG and that will be all absolutely fine. The other way you can test it is edit, define pattern, that is correct. Let's name it like this. Okay, and now we're going to open another document, new 6x6, nice and large. So we're going to test it now. And let's create rectangle. If you're not sure, if you haven't got your rectangle here, you might have to go into your tools and just find it under those three dots. There's going to be, you can't see it with a right click, there's going to be more tools in here, and you might have to do edit toolbar and find it. But let's just pretend you have that rectangle. So double click on this layer here and we have our layer style options, and we're going to tick pattern overlay. This is one of my old patterns that I tested before. If you want different, you just click on that. It gives you option to choose the one that's the one that we just chose. Double click on this And you can see it repeats absolutely fine. You can view it in different scales, so you can make it larger or smaller. You can see it. How is that working for you? And okay, that's fine. So you can keep it like this just for preview. But this is basically your working tile. The only drawback with this type of file with a raster is that if you want to make it super large, you will start to see pixels. You cannot put it on a billboard or any large sort of, with a wallpaper. You have to be careful with the sizing. It is a large size still, but it has its limits. So if you know what's the end product that it's going to be and what's the size going to be, what's the scale, and the printing is going to be digital type of printing, you'll be fine. But if this specification says it has to be raster, because with vector in Illustrator, you can just make things infinitely big without losing any quality. So just keep in mind, this is the method where you are not too bothered to have that scaled into huge proportions. But I think it's got its charm, the watercolor painting, and I hope you find this useful. Please let me know if you have any questions at all, and I would love to answer them if you have anything. So I hope you enjoy that. It was informative, and I'll speak to you in the next lesson, tutorial, or video. So take care. Bye.